Tra-la-la, tra-la-lee, sharing.
All right, that's a much longer song than I remember. That might have taken us through the full hour. Yeah, it is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm so excited to have everyone join us. I actually have this cool countdown feature from this app, but I'm not even going to use it because I think we're right on time. So thanks so much for joining us. We're here in the Scholastic Education Studios here in my dining room, and my kids may run in here and they're very loud, but that is it's 50-50. So I hope it's sort of where we are at these days with presentations, but they are adorable, so it would be totally worth it. Okay, let's take a look here. So welcome to Scholastic Canada's nationwide virtual learning session series. My name is Sean Campbell, and I'm the Digital Resources Manager for Scholastic Education. And I'd like to start by thanking everyone for joining us. I know that it's been such a turbulent year for everyone. And we just wanted to say from Scholastic Education to everyone, it's just so much love and appreciation for what you're doing. We have so many friends and family that are teachers, obviously all of the educators that we're lucky enough to work with every day. What a year, and you're there for our kids each and every day, and that's unreal. So thank you so much. Today in this virtual learning session, we're going to take a look at Scholastic PRIME. It's a new fully digital resource, math resource for grades 1 to 6. So I'll be starting out with a quick demo and showing you some of the key features of Scholastic PRIME. And then I'm going to be welcoming Fiona Robertson-Neil. Fiona is our Scholastic PRIME expert and all-around amazing person, obviously. But she's going to walk us through some of the methodology and strategies found in Singapore math. And so that's the philosophy that Scholastic PRIME is built on. And so you can better understand the resource, but also see for yourself why it has been so successful all over the world in supporting student learning. So please do use the chat. It's been great. Some people have been chiming in from snowy and foggy places all across Canada. You can use it to say hi, but obviously also put any questions you have in there. While Fiona's speaking, I'm going to do my best to answer anything and everything you guys have. And Fiona might have time to answer some questions at the end as well. So we might not have time to get to every question just because this is a very limited amount of time we have for this presentation. But there are ways that we can take this outside of this session as well. So you can always, you can go into the Twitterverse and you can tweet me at Campbell Online, this guy. And obviously following me would be great, and I'll definitely follow you back because I've learned so much on Twitter. I've just sort of started to get into it the last year and a bit, and it's actually been amazing for ideas and really moral support as well. So follow at Campbell Online, or tag me in a post if you want me to answer a question, or DM me. And you can also use the hashtag virtual learning, which we're going to be using as well. So. Oh yeah, after this, we're also going to be sending a follow-up email to everyone that registered for this session. So it's going to have links to this recorded session. It's going to have a short questionnaire. And with that questionnaire, when you fill it out and send it in, you'll have an opportunity to win our door prize, which is a 1-year license for Scholastic PRIME. So that's a pretty awesome door prize. So I hope everybody gets a chance to enter. So without further ado, I am going to start my overview of Scholastic PRIME before I introduce Fiona. This is just an overview. If you want a more robust presentation, or you want pricing or quotes or what have you, I am going to put a link for all of our Scholastic Education consultants in the chat, and they'll be more than happy to help you with whatever you need. So Scholastic PRIME is a completely digital resource. And we've done a scope and sequence chart and a curriculum correlation document for several of the provinces throughout Canada. And it is an excellent fit curriculum-wise for most of the curriculums across the country. And even better, it's currently on sale. So it's $1,000 per school at 50% off. So that $1,000 is 50% off. And that's on sale till December 31st. So you get content for grades 1 to 6. For $1,000. So you have a math resource for everybody almost everyone in your elementary schools for one low price. So definitely, if you're interested in this, good idea to get on it before December 31st. Okay, and now I'm going to share my screen and start this demo. Okay, so this is the shared reading that I was playing the music from. But you'll find Prime Teaching Hub inside the Scholastic Learning Zone. So if this was something that you purchased, you would just click on it and it would open up. And I'm going to show you a few of the key features, but what really separates this from any other numeracy program or resource that I've seen is that every lesson in this resource, so grades 1 to 6, that's hundreds, over 1,000 lessons, there is a demonstration video of every one of them. So I'll just let that sink in. So a demonstration video for every lesson, that's 1,198 demo lessons. So that alone, think about how much time that would save you and how valuable that would be for teachers if they're using it as they prepare and maybe they haven't done this concept before. Well, now you can see it in action. Think about how valuable it would be for students, for parents. They're at home learning, and now with a click of a button, they can refresh, they can review that lesson again on their own. It's like having an assistant teacher in the home of all your students 24/7, and that would just be amazing. So I think that's such a powerful feature of this, and I'll show that to you in a second as we go. But I just wanted to mention it off the top because it's so massive. And it just saves you so much time, and it's such a useful tool. And I actually met the woman who did all of them, and I'm hilarious. So I jokingly said, hey, like, why not 1,200, right? Like, you're so close. And she did not laugh even a little bit. So it's an incredible amount of work that hopefully we can save all of you with these demo videos. So you click in, and this is your course book. So this would be where you would start to teach your lesson. And you can see they're broken up into topics, units, and then lessons. So this is the start of a topic, and this is your Let's Remember. So this is your opportunity to activate that prior knowledge with your students and make sure that they have all of the skills they need to go into this new concept. And so you'll see it's very pictorial, and then you're getting this abstract and symbolic math as well. And so what's cool about this is that if your students are not understanding one of these concepts that they need to move on, if you go into the lesson notes, so you'll have this lesson note tab at the top of the page here. And for the teacher's guide, it actually takes you right to the page that you need to be in. So here's your page spread with answer key, and then it'll give you notes for teachers. And then you have this white box that says Let's Remember. And so if your student is struggling with recognizing equal groups and finding the total number in the groups by repeated addition using a number line, it tells you exactly where to find that lesson within Scholastic Prime. So you can go back to Coursebook 2B, Topic 12, and work with that student to make sure that they have those skills. And if you subscribe to Prime and you're a teacher, you actually have access to all 6 grades. So even if it's a skill that a student's lacking from a different grade, you still have access to that, and you can go back and help that student. So just makes it really, really streamlined, and it's a really easy to navigate resource, so you can get back there really quickly, support that student, get them caught up, so that they can attack this next lesson. So the Let's Remember is 2 pages, and now, sorry, it moves into lesson 1, and every lesson is broken up into Let's Learn, Let's Do, and Let's Practice. And so it has that gradual release of responsibility built right in. And again, you're going to see lots of pictorial content. You're going to see that symbolic and abstract numeracy concept. You're going to see word problems. And you're also going to have these illustrations of these students, these kids. And if you see a speech bubble or a thought bubble, that's them modeling metacognitive thinking. And so there is explicit teaching of metacognitive concepts throughout as well. Metacognitive thinking and numeracy thinking throughout the resource. So that's a really important piece of this resource that can really help students. And so here's the piece that I was kind of raving about earlier. So at the top of every new lesson, you're going to have your demo lesson tab. And when you click it, the demo lesson pops up.
Counting by twos. Let's look at these bears. There are 2 bears in a group.
So they're very simple, very easy to follow. And again, there's 1,198 of them. So it can really support those students who didn't grasp it the first time and need to go back when they need to go back and review it. And for teachers, obviously prepping for their lesson. So they're incredible. And there's so many of those. It would take too long for me to show you a ton of them. But if there's any that you want to look at specifically, obviously just contact your Scholastic rep and they would be happy to go over it with you. So this is your Let's Learn. Then we move into Let's Do. So still teacher-supported learning, but kids are getting an opportunity to try it on their own. And then you have Let's Practice. So this is when students are getting more of an opportunity to spread their wings and just do it on their own. And you're also going to have Let's Practice Blackline Masters. And so you can either print these out or you can save them as a PDF and email them to students or put them on your Google Classroom page. Or D2L or whatever system that you're using, so that they can continue to practice these concepts. So that's very structured, right? So you've got Let's Do, Let's Learn, Let's Do, Let's Practice. They're all structured that way for 2 reasons. So one is that so students are comfortable learning a new concept. They're not wrestling with a new way of learning as well as a new concept, and it also makes it really intuitive for teachers. So once they start using Scholastic Prime, they know that these steps are coming and it's just a lot easier to prep for your lesson and deliver it as well. But that's not to say it's a fully structured resource. It's not at all. So problem solving is a humongous part of this. And there are both routine and non-routine problem solving word problems that kids can work on, like these. So here's problem solving. So with this, you're going to see that it's very structured. It gives students a lot of support. So with Let's Learn for this word problem, it uses the UPAC method. So understand, plan, answer, and check. Again, it gives them explicit problem solving strategies that they can put into any type of word problem that they're working on. And again, you have that metacognitive thinking and you have the pictorial and abstract pieces as well. And then it has Let's Do and Let's Practice. And I'm just going to zip through here a bit if I can. Oh yeah, so there's a create your own. So now there's an opportunity to be more creative. So use the given words to write a multiplication word problem, then solve the word problem, show your work clearly. So it's giving students an opportunity to think on their own and apply the skills that they've learned in this lesson. And you have a lot of space so that students can show their work and teachers can see what they're understanding and what they're not. And that goes for, I'm going to zip over to lesson 3 because it's a mind stretcher. And so this would be more of a non-routine word problem. So this is saying, okay, you've learned all of this stuff. Here's it in a way that you haven't done before. And so we're still giving you that UPAC method that you can try out. But now you're just getting a word problem and a blank space. So, okay, show me what you know. Let's see what you can do. And so that I can support you in the areas that you might be missing. Or that you might need a little bit more help in, or maybe you know everything, which is fantastic. There's formative assessment throughout. There's summative assessment at the end of each topic, which is really handy as well. So that is a quick overview of Scholastic Prime. It's fantastic. Like it is completely digital. It's very cost effective. The demo videos alone are worth well over whatever we're charging for it. It's just very, very supportive, very, very strong methodology. And if you have any other questions about it, please do let us know. Okay, let's see. All right. And with that, I would like to introduce Fiona Robertson-Neil. So Fiona is originally hailing from Glasgow in Bonnie, Scotland. Fiona has been a teacher for 25 years and was a primary school principal prior to joining the team at Scholastic Australia. A self-confessed dunce at math, Fiona found Prime when looking for a better program for her son and was so impressed with the process and methodology of Prime, She felt the need to share it with other principals around Australia and now Canada. Fiona says if she can understand it, anyone can, and only wishes she had had it as a student herself and as a teacher. And I think she's down in Australia, so it's probably 30 degrees down there. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Fiona.
Hi, everybody, and bonsoir to those of us who are joining us from the French contingent. So I hope you're all able to understand my accent. I don't come with subtitles, unfortunately.
Excellent.
And yes, it's well, it's 35 degrees here today, Sean. It's absolutely roasting.
Don't do that to us.
I would gladly swap for the snow. Yes, that's much more to my tastes. But never mind, we are where we are. It's lovely, and I have to put up with having a pool in my backyard, so hardships. But never mind. And well, I'm really pleased to see you all this evening for you guys, this morning for me, and I'm really pleased to talk to you about Prime. A few things Sean's already touched on, and shall we get started and take a wee look at Prime?
Absolutely.
All right. So I shall share my screen, and hopefully we will get this going. All right. Okay. Alrighty, so I will pull that up, and hopefully now you'll be able to see my screen all right. Okay, so Prime in Australia has gone exceedingly well. It's taken off absolutely fantastically. I came on board with Prime, oh my goodness, just over 3 years ago now, and was extremely passionate about it because of the way it works. So what we're going to do today, we're going to have a look at a few different aspects of why Prime works. So first of all, we'll have a look at the different types of problem solving. So the different types of problems that we look at are routine, non-routine, problem-posing tasks, and mathematical modelling. We'll have a look at problem-solving methodology, pedagogy, and the strategies that are used therein. And we'll also have a look at the main underpinning pedagogy that we use, which is Concrete-Pictorial-Abstract, what it is and how it works. So that's what we're going to be doing over the next little while. So let's get started. First of all, routine word problems. Well, these are usually the easiest and least challenging types of word problems that children will come across. So the one in front of you is a really good example of that. So Jack swims 800 meters each weekday at swimming training. He swims twice as far on Saturday and Sunday. How far does Jack swim in a week? So this would be a typical year 2, year 3 type of question. And the things that children would be required to look at here. First of all, they're being asked to look at the application of the concepts that students have already been taught. So they know the kind of strategies they're going to have to use. They're pretty straightforward. They usually require single-step problem-solving things to do. So they're not particularly challenging. They're not really requiring the children to really think outside of where they're at. And most children should be able to solve a routine word problem. They're not particularly challenging. In stark contrast to routine word problems, oh, and they're also using the skills that they've already got. In stark contrast to that are non-routine word problems, like this one in front of you. So a non-routine word problem is much, much more challenging and will require children to really think about what they're being asked to solve here. So in this question in front of you, Jo baked a round cake. She invited 7 friends to share the cake with her. How many ways can she cut the cake equally so that everyone gets one piece? Now, I've given this question to literally hundreds of teachers around Australia. That's my job. I fly around Australia training teachers and talking to principals about Prime and training teachers up, and it has been quite interesting seeing groups of these really highly trained, very professional teachers trying to work out how to cut a round cake into 7 pieces, and then the penny drops, oh, it's 8 pieces. And then when I share with them that this is actually a year 2 question, you kind of see their faces just drop. But it's a non-routine year 2 question. So that would be a mind stretcher, pushing the children to really think beyond their capabilities in many cases. But that's what it's all about. We're challenging them. We're pushing them a little bit further forward just to see how far they can go. So these really are challenging questions. There may be multiple answers that the children can come up with. these types of questions usually require more than one step. And it definitely usually isn't a straightforward application of calculations. Children are usually required to think about different strategies and to pick one that might work. And if that first one doesn't work, try the next one. So, for example, they might be asked to try guess and check, draw a picture, work backwards, or in this case, to actually act it out. And the answer to this one, incidentally, would be acting it out. So what they would be doing is actually cutting the cake through the center and then cut it into quarters. And that's actually the easiest way to work it out. The next one, problem posing tasks. So problem posing tasks are introduced to children usually around year or grade 4. And that's when we think about children giving and getting their own types of problems. So Sean touched on one of them in the short demonstration that he gave just a few moments ago. And problem posing tasks in Prime require the children to really think about creating their own problems. And this isn't an easy thing for them to do. They're given templates, they're given the bare bones of a problem, and then they create their own answers, their own problems, how they're going to work these out. The challenge is then in answering these questions and proving that their answer is correct. So what we're really looking for in these types of questions is mathematical explanation. Can you explain to me how you got to the answer? So really the end destination isn't really what we're interested in here, it's the journey. How do you get there and how do you know that your answer is correct? The last type of mathematical modelling that we look at specifically in Prime is mathematical modelling, or another way of calling that is real-world maths. Now, the example that's there, what's the best value mobile phone deal, or I think you guys call it a cell phone in Canada, don't you? Anyway, the best value mobile phone deal that you might choose might be completely different to the best value phone deal that I would choose. So, for example, you might be wanting, a phone deal with an enormous number of gigs so you can download music or movies. I'm looking for free international minutes so that I can call my mum in Edinburgh. So, these are answers that there aren't always the correct answers. It's a real world maths investigation. There's no right, there's no wrong answer. As long as the student can justify and explain their answers, that's exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for that really detailed ability for a child to explain and to use really rich mathematical vocabulary and explanation. That's really what we're looking for. So, by the time a child has gone through Prime, particularly if they've started from year 1, by the time they get through to year or grade 6, they will be fluent in each one of these different types of problems going through Prime. And by the time they start high school, they will be at such an advantage. They will have the literacy, the mathematical literacy that goes with being able to solve problems, and what an advantage they will have. Okay, so when we started thinking about Prime at the very beginning, we went over to Singapore and we discovered what they were doing. We discovered where their roots were, where their roots came from. We looked into the research that was involved. And when we came back to Australia, what we wanted to see was we asked this question: what are the students likely to do if they're faced with this problem? And what we actually did was we gave this problem to students in Australia. We did it in the Central Coast where our main office is, and we gave it to quite a wide range of children, and it was really interesting. So this was the problem we gave them, and what the children did was immediately they went to the numbers. They didn't really read the question at all. They went straight to the numbers. They added them together. They handed back the piece of paper with these 3 numbers added together. They wanted out of that room as soon as humanly possible. And it was fascinating. And these were children from good schools and kind of, top of the tree from these good schools. And we thought, isn't that really interesting? These children really, really did not like answering word problems. So then that, of course, led us into another question. Is finding the answer all there is to problem solving? Absolutely not. We discovered, no. We need to find something that's going to really help. So then we said, okay, so is there an effective strategy that can solve any type of problem. And again, that led us into research. And again, we came across something that Sean has just touched on, and we discovered a guy called Jerome Poya. Now, he, I think, originally came from Hungary, I think it was, but he ended up in your neighboring United States. And he came up with a system which was a problem-solving process, and it's called the UPAC system. And as Sean mentioned, that stands for understand, plan, answer, and check. And it is absolutely fantastic. It's really easy to understand. It's just a 4-point system. It's really easy to remember. It's UPAC, and it's easy for little ones. Even wee ones down in year 1 can remember what each thing stands for. And if children are kind of introduced to this, exposed to this right from the very beginning, by the time they're in, grade 4, 5, and 6, this is second nature. They remember how to use it, and it is applicable to pretty much any mathematical question you come across. So let's have a look at this in action. So I'm going to apply the UPAC system to this problem. So it's the same problem we gave to the children. It says Jamie has a total of 880 millilitres of juice. 425 millilitres is orange juice, 305 millilitres is apple juice, and the rest is pineapple. How much pineapple juice is there? Okay, so what we need to do first of all is to slow this whole process down and work out with the children what exactly we're looking for here. So what are we looking for? Well, we want to know how much pineapple juice there is. That's the bottom thing that we're looking for. That's the common denominator. So what do we know? Well, first of all, what do we know about the juice? We know that there's a total of 880 millilitres. Okay, how much is orange? 425 millilitres is orange. How much is apple? 305 is apple. And what is it we're trying to find out? Well, we need to find out how much pineapple juice is there. All right, so there's our little UPAC checker, just to remind ourselves of what we're doing. We're on the understanding part. Now we're moving on to the plan. So we've done the U, now we're on to the P. All right, what do we need to do next? Well, we need to think part, whole thinking. All right, so do we know what the whole in this instance is? Well, when we're thinking about addition, we need to know what the parts are. So addition means you're adding parts together to get the whole. Subtraction is when you have the whole and you take away the parts and you're left with another part, and there's your answer. All right, so in this instance, do we have the whole? Yes, we do. It's 880. Do we have the parts? We do indeed. We've got one part is 425 and the other part is 305. The part that we need to know is this part here. So we're going to find that out in just a second. All right, we're still planning. What we're going to do is we're going to use one of those strategies we talked about earlier in the non-routine word solving problem, and we're going to use what we call a part whole bar model, and this is something that's used widely in Singapore math. So what we're going to do is we're going to represent our bar model by using a long bar for the whole, so that's 880 milliliters. Now in Singapore they don't pop in the units, they just pop in the number, so that's what they do in Singapore, that's what we do as well. So the long bar is 880 and that represents all of the juice. We're going to put in the parts now. The first part is orange juice, so that's 425. The second part is apple juice, and that's 305. And the third part, we don't know what that is yet. It still has a value, we just don't know what it is yet, so we pop in there a question mark. So the bar model is basically a visual representation of numbers. It allows children to see exactly what we're dealing with in a much more visual and easy to see way. All right, so now what do we do? Well, you then have a discussion with your students. What do we need to do to find this out? Hopefully your children will be able to tell you you need to add the orange juice to the apple juice and subtract that total from your whole. So we do that, we write that down. We're now in the answering part of our UPAC. We've U, we've understood, we've P, we've planned, now we're A, we're answering. So we add together 425 and 305, which gives us 730. We then take 730 away from 880. There we go, and we're left with 150, and that is our answer. So we finish, good practice to finish with a number sentence, and we say Jamie has 150 milliliters of pineapple juice left over. We've not finished though, we still have to check. So check my answer is correct. So we say 425, add on 305, add on that 150 that we now know. All those added together gives us 880, which is what we started off with at the beginning. Ta-da! We're back at the beginning, so we know that our answer is correct. And that is how we go through a word problem using UPAC and using the bar model method. Alrighty, so I know my answer is correct and I can move forward. So, as I say, that was one of the ways of answering a problem solving and using problem solving process. And we're now going to have a look at Concrete-Pictorial-Abstract, or CPA, that we call it for short, Concrete-Pictorial-Abstract, a bit of a mouthful. And again, this is one of the underpinning pedagogies from our work and our research that's been done into Singapore maths. This is one of the things that they really attribute to their success. So let's have a look. So basically, what is concrete pictorial abstract? Well, basically what we're doing here is we're teaching for understanding. Now, we all know that we learn, children and adults learn through real world experiences. If you burst a tire in your car, you're going to learn how to fix that tire by going out there and getting your hands filthy and changing it yourself. You're not going to learn about it by reading. You've got to get out there and do it. And it's exactly the same for children. And what we needed to do was to bridge that real world experience and touching it and playing with it and learning about it to those really abstract mathematical concepts. And that is a really big bridge to build and to get across there. And I don't know about you, but certainly when I was at school, that bridge didn't exist. I had no clue how to go from there to there. If I'm being completely honest, that bridge really wasn't built completely and cemented for me until I came on board with Prime and really got these, understood these developmental concepts for myself. I thought it was built, but apparently it wasn't. So what we want to do with Prime is to really make a concrete understanding here for the children. And we do that in a really simple way. First of all, we concrete the understanding, the really kind of anchor the children's understanding of what we're doing using real world experiences. So for example, right at the very beginning, we give the children, 3 yellow little plastic bears. That's what a 3 looks like. Feel what a 3 looks like. If we add one more little bear there, then we've got 4. That's what a 4 looks like. So they learn. They see how long a meter is. They see how tall a meter is. They go out and play with meters. We encourage all of that really good hands-on, concrete understanding of what things are. We then immediately link that understanding, that play, that experience to a visual representation, to a pictorial representation of what they've just been doing. And that link is really, really important. Now, there is something cognitive that happens. Don't ask me what it is because neuroscience ain't one of my bags, but something happens there where that link works. Not only is that link made, but it's retained. Then the next part that happens is that we unlock the understanding of that abstract concept by writing it down. Now, most schools across the world write stuff down. Okay, that we all have to do that. And a great many schools, particularly in the lower years, use concrete materials. You use whatever you've got. I remember when I was teaching in London, we had absolutely no money and we would go out and look for things in the playground. We would have twigs, we would have leaves. Quite a number of occasions we found bullet shells, but you would find and you would use whatever you have for your concrete materials. Not a lot of places use that pictorial, that middle visual pictorial representation, and that's really important. The other important part is that we don't spend a week on concrete or a week on pictorial or a week on abstract. Every question is linked to these 3 parts, and that's what makes the difference. So I'm going to workshop that for you just now and give you some examples of how that's done. Before I do that, I just want to show you kind of how this changes. At the beginning, so particularly years 1 and 2, the most important part of the children's understanding is the concrete part. So children really learn through, the use of the practical side of things. So that concrete understanding is vital. So of course is the pictorial part, and the abstract part isn't as important as the concrete in years 1 and 2, and certainly into year 3 as well. As they move forward into 4, 5, and 6, this shifts a wee bit. The concrete is less important, although it still has to be here. Please do make sure in years 4, 5, and 6 that you do have even just a little tray of, counters or whatever you've got, age appropriate, model Maseratis, whatever you have. Please have concrete materials in your classroom so that children, if they need to, can have the confidence to go and use, concrete materials. Then the pictorial is still important, but abstract certainly takes over. The children have to learn how to write things down and how to understand those abstract concepts. So let's have a look at it in action. We're going to have a look at each of the operations. So addition, we're going to have a look at simple addition and then double digits with regrouping. So if I could just get you to use your imaginations and imagine that we have got a group of counters here, a group of blue counters and a group of red counters. Okay, so what we're going to do first of all is take these counters. Now, these are your concrete materials because these are in front of you. And we're going to make these concrete materials into pictorial representations. So at the moment, we've got no idea what's here because we're year 1 and we're going to sort these out into proper settings so that we can see what we're doing. So let's take these counters and sort them out. So we're going to put our counters into groups of 5. So we're going to be adding 7 and 5, and we're going to put them into what we call in prime the 10 frame. So the 10 frame is basically a posh way of saying laying them out into groups of 5. So for a 7, we've got 5 and 2, and for 5, we've just got straightforward 5. So this is now our pictorial. So we've had our concrete, this is our pictorial. Now we're going to look at the abstract. We're going to write down what we've got. So we write down a number 7, we add the plus sign, and then we add the number 5. We put an equal sign because we're going to write in what the answer is over here. Okay, so we're talking with year 1 here, and we're going to talk to the children about this calculation. So we're going to add 7 to 5, and we're going to talk to the children about how it is much easier to add a 10 and ones instead of 2 lots of ones. Now, of course, I'm rattling through this. You would spend a lot longer with your year 1 children than I am doing with you. So you would discuss the children with the children that it's much easier to add 10s and ones than it is to add 2 lots of ones. So in order for us to add together a lot of 10 and some ones, first of all, we need to make one of these numbers into a 10. Okay, so first thing that we need to do is find out which number is the larger of the 2 numbers. Hopefully the children will be able to tell you that 7 is larger than 5. So we're going to have a look at the 7 and we're going to work out how many more numbers we need to make 7 into a 10. Hopefully the children will be able to tell you you need 3 extra numbers to make 7 into a 10. All right, so we're not going to add any counters into this. What we're going to do is we're going to have a look at this number 5, and we're going to split the 5 up into some numbers so that we can give the 7 3. So let's look at our 5. So if we split our 5 into a 3 and into a 2, then we could take 3 counters from here and give it to our 7 and make that 7 into a 10. So let's do that. Let's take 3 counters from our 5 and give them to our 7. There we go. So we now have changed the calculation here. We've now have changed this sum into 10 add on 2. Okay, so 10 add on 2 is much easier to calculate than 7 add on 5, which is quite difficult because there were 2 lots of ones here. So 10 add on 2, you would ask the children, hopefully a forest of little hands would go up, and the children would be able to tell you 10 add on 2 gives you 12, which of course is the correct answer. So we would look back up here at this calculation. All right, so is 10 add on 2 the same as 7 add on 5? And if you were doing this on your whiteboard with magnetic counters, you would be able to move these magnetic counters back and say to the children, well, if we move these counters back over, we can see that yes, 7 add on 5 is exactly the same as 10 add on 2, because we haven't taken any counters away, we haven't added any new counters in. All we've done is we've moved 3 counters from our number 5 to our number 7, and that's changed the way that we've added this number up. So 7 add on 5, yes, is exactly the same, gives us 12. Okay, let's have a look at it. Slightly more difficult question. We're going to add together this time, we're going to add 475 and 438. So we're going to be regrouping in this one. So we've got 400s, we've got 7 10s, and we've got 5 1s, and we write it down at the side here. And then we're going to add to that 400s, 3 10s, and 8 1s. Okay, so we're going to be adding this together. And again, if you're doing this on your whiteboard, always good to have this marked out and have your ones on the board with your magnetic counters and at the side. And of course, when you're doing this, the children can have their place value mats and be doing this alongside and mirroring what you're doing. Okay, so we start off with our ones, and we're going to put our ones together. We're going to keep them in the 10 frame, and we're going to add together 5 and 8. So let's pop all of our ones together, and let's see what we've got. So we've got 5, 10, and 3. So 5 and 5 is 10, and 3 is 13. Okay, so can we have 13 ones in the ones column? No, we can't. All right, so what we have to do is regroup. So we're going to regroup 10 ones, and we're going to put 1 10 into the tens column. So let's do that. So we regroup, we put 1 10 into the tens column over here where we're writing, and we put 1 10 over here into our tens column. And we've got 3 1s left over. So we write 3 1s over here, which is reflecting what we've got. And we've got 1 10. Now we make sure that we put the 10 above the 7, not to the side, because it's not 17 tens, it's 1 10. And then we pull up all of our 10s and we see what we've got here. All right, so now we've got 5, 10, 11 10s in the tens column. Let's just check. We've got 7 and 3 is 10, plus 1 is 11. All right, so we've got 11 10s here. Once again, we can't have 11 10s in our tens column. So once again, we have to regroup 10 10s, and we're going to give one of our 10 10s over here because that becomes a hundredth. All right, so let's put one of our hundreds up here. Let's do that now. We pop 1 hundreds up in the hundreds column, and we pop one of our hundreds up in our hundreds column where we're writing it down. We're left with 1 10 in the tens column, and we pop that here. Okay, so let's have a look at our hundreds. Let's pop them all together in our 10 frame. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus 4, that's 9. Let's check. 4 and 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9, and we have our answer here. We check by saying 475 and 438 leaves us with 913, and that's exactly the answer we have in our calculation. Okay, we're going to have a look at subtraction. Subtraction is slightly different. We're going to have a look at simple subtraction, and then we will have a look at a slightly more difficult one with regrouping. Now, subtraction is slightly different. When you're looking at subtraction, you only put up the larger of the two numbers in your place value board. That's really important, particularly when it comes to doing regrouping. So when you're just doing your normal straightforward subtraction, you could get away with putting up the second number, but we're not going to get into bad habits, so we're only going to be popping up the first number, the larger of the two numbers. So let's have a look. We're going to start off with our ones column. We have 6 ones, and we're going to subtract 3. So let's do that. We've got 6 ones. Let's take away 3. Take 3 away, and we're left with 3. Really simple, really straightforward. We pop 3 in here. In the tens column, we have 7 10s, which we do. We're going to take away 2. Let's do that. And we're left with 5. So we write 5 in here. Really simple, really straightforward. The children are able to see exactly what we've done. We've got our concrete materials. We have our pictorial representation. And here's our abstract notation here. Very straightforward, very simple, allows children to see exactly what we're doing. However, with more complex subtraction, this is really where this type of Concrete-Pictorial-Abstract comes into its own. It makes it very clear for the children. So what we're going to say is we're going to start off with 5,076. So we don't have anything in our hundreds. And we're going to take away 3,897. So let's write that in. 5,076. We're going to take away 3,897. So lots of regrouping we can see that we're going to be doing straight away. All right, let's get started. So we've got 6 ones, and we need to take away 7 ones. Straight away, we can see that we can't do that. So what do we need to do? We need to go next door into our tens column where we've got 7 10s. We need to regroup one of these 10s, and give ourselves 10 ones. So let's go ahead and do that. So we've taken away one of these 10s. As soon as we do that, we reflect what we've done in our visual representation. We reflect that immediately in our abstract notation. So there's no longer 7 10s there. There are now 6 10s. There we go. What we've done now is we've regrouped our 110 for 10 1. So we pop that up here. We do put that 110 at the side because there are 16 ones there now. So now, can we say 16 take away 7? Absolutely. Let's do that. 16 take away 7 leaves us with 9. So we pop that in there. So that's that part done. We now move our attention over to our 10s. So we now have 6 10s. And we need to take away, oh, okay, well, what do we do here? We can't do anything here because we don't have, we have got 0 hundreds. We've got 6 10s, we need to take away 9 10s, but we're stuck because we don't have any hundreds. So what we need to do is pass over our hundreds and go up to our thousands. We need to regroup one of these thousands to give us 10 hundreds so that we can regroup one of those hundreds to give us 10 10s. So let's do that. So let's take one of these thousands away. So let's show what we've done there. So we've taken away one of those thousands. We now have 4 thousands there. All right. What we've got now are 10 hundreds. Great. Okay. So we've got 10 hundreds. We can now regroup one of those hundreds. So let's do that. We've taken one of those hundreds away. So we score out our 10. We now have 9 hundreds. All right. And we've taken one of those hundreds to give us 10 10s. So we pop that 10 above our, or rather next to our 6 in our 10s column. We now have 16 10s. All right, we're cooking by gas. Now we can get moving. Let's do 16 take away 9. Let's do that. We're left with 5 and 2 is 7. We're left with 7 10s. Great. Let's move on to our hundreds. We've got 900s. So we need to take away 800s. Let's do that. We're left with 100. And there it is. And we're on to our thousands now. We've got 4 thousands. We need to take away 3 thousands. Let's do that. We're left with 1, and we pop it in our writing. So the answer to 5,076 subtract 3,897 is 1,179. And there we have it written out for us. Okay, hopefully that has shown you, and it will show your students very, very clearly how to work out that notation, how to write it down, where the numbers came from. I don't know about you, but when I was at school, I hadn't the faintest idea where all of these numbers came from. I wrote them down because if I didn't, I get something thrown at me. So I made sure that when we're doing this type of notation, that every single step is clear and the children really understand it. Multiplication, really simple. I'll just fly through this bit. This is just repeated addition. So simple multiplications, moving on to more complex. So 7 times 4, there we've got 7 lots of 4. We put the ones into the 10 frame. So there you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 4, which of course is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 5, which is 25, plus 3, which is 28, which regrouped is 2 10s and 8 1s, which gives you 28. So 4 times 7, 28. Very simple, very straightforward. And 305 times 3, exactly the same thing. 3 lots of 305. Again, you just regroup the ones. 5 times 3 gives you 15, so 1 10 and 5 1s. And then 3 lots of 300 gives you, oops, sorry, sped on there a little bit fast, sorry. 3 times 3 lots of 300, of course, gives you 900. So the answer to 305 times 3 is 915. So exactly the same way as you did the addition. Division is slightly different. So I'm going to just spend a little bit of time on division with you. In Prime and with Scholastics, now in Australia, it's called School Essentials Catalogue. I don't know if it's the same for Canada. I'm hoping it is. We sell a product called place value discs, which are absolutely phenomenal. I'm part of the education team, not the sales team. I'm rubbish at sales. But the one thing that I do mention to teachers when I go out and I talk to them are our place value discs, because they're fabulous. And this is what we use when we talk about division. So the first one I'm going to do is 99 divided by 3, because it's very easy to show you and it's very easy to do. So So what we do in Prime, we teach short division in a long division way. I'm not entirely sure if that's how you do things in Canada. Over here in Australia, that's not how it's taught routinely. It was how it was taught in Scotland, because we do things quite well over there. In England, it wasn't taught that way, so everybody does it differently. But in Prime, we teach short division in a long division way. Cognitively, it just makes sense. And also when the children move on to do long division, it rules out any issues of misconception. So how do we do it in Prime? Well, first of all, we set out what it is that we're going to be doing. So we've got 99 and we're dividing 99 by 3. So we put out 99 in place value discs. We've put out 90, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 50 and 40 is 90, and then 9 single place value discs. So there you have 99, and we're going to divide those 99 discs into 3 separate groups. Okay, so I'm going to put my working, my answers up at the top and my working underneath here. So let's get started. So first of all, I'm going to start unusually, unlike the other 3 operations, of course, with division, you start with the largest number. You don't start with the ones, and in this case, the largest number that we're dealing with are tens. So let's get started. We're going to take our tens and we're going to deal our tens out equally amongst 3 equal groups. And we're just going to keep doing that until we can't do it anymore. So we just keep sharing out our tens until we don't have any more tens, or we can't. Okay, so I don't have any tens left up there anymore. And now I'm going to have a look and see how many tens I've got and how many tens I have used. So in each of these 3 groups, do I have equal numbers? Yes, I do. Great. Okay, so first thing I'm going to ask myself is how many tens are in each group? I've got 1, 2, 3 in that group, 1, 2, 3 in that group, and 1, 2, 3 in that group. So in my tens column, I have used 3 tens in each group. Okay, how many tens have I used altogether? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've used 9 tens, so I'm going to take those 9 tens away from the 9 tens that were there, and I'm left with nothing. Great, okay. Now, how many ones have I got? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I've got 9 ones, so I'm going to write that in there, and I'm going to repeat exactly the same process and share them out amongst my 3 equal groups. So let's do that. Now, of course, while you're doing this, you wouldn't be sitting doing this while the children are watching. You would either get them to come out to the boards and join in with you, or you would get them to be mirroring what you're doing at the same time. Okay, so I've done exactly the same procedure and we follow exactly the same methodology. How many ones have I got in each group? Do I have equal numbers? Yes, I do. How many ones do I have in each group? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I've got 3 ones in each group. Okay, how many ones have I used altogether? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've used 9 ones, so I'm going to take my 9 ones away. I'm left with no ones left over, which is correct. I have got 0 ones there, and I don't have any more numbers to share out. So the answer to 99 divided by 3 is 33. Very simple, very straightforward. We've had our concrete materials, we've transferred them into a pictorial representation, and here is our abstract notation written down, and there's your answer. Easy peasy, very simple. If there were any left over, they would be remainders. Okay, let's look at a much more difficult question. Okay, so here we have 718 divided by 3. Now, of course, this only works when you're dividing by a single digit number. You could, of course, divide this number by 28 if you wanted to, and no doubt you'll have a cherub that will ask you if you can, in which case, let them go for it. They'll be there all lunchtime and they'll never ask you to do it again. It can be done, but always best to use this just with single digits. Okay, so we're going to do exactly the same thing again. We're going to divide 718, and here we have our place value discs. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hundreds. We've got 1 10, and we've got 8 ones. We're going to put our answers up here and are working underneath. So let's get going. So first of all, I'm going to divide my 100s into 3 equal groups. So let's do that. 100, 100, and 100. So I can do that again. Yep. Okay, can I do it again? No, I can't, because I've only got 100 left. So I'm going to leave that 100 there for just now, and I'm going to have a look and see what I've got. So do I have equal numbers in each group? Yes, I do. How many hundreds are in each group? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So I've used 2 hundreds in each group. How many hundreds have I used altogether? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've used 600. So I'm going to take my 600s away from my 700s. That leaves me with 100. Okay, I'm going to take my 100 and I'm going to regroup that 100 because I can't split it up and share it any other way. I'm going to regroup that 100 for 10 tens. So let's do that. Take the 100 away and I'd like 10 tens in its place. So there we go. And I now have 10 tens plus that 110 that I had to start off with. So I now have 11 tens. So we write that down there. So I'm keeping track of what I have. So I have 11 tens, and I'm now going to share my 11 tens amongst my 3 groups. So let's just do that. And again, you know, you can have your children doing this alongside you, mirroring what you're doing, or you can get them to come out and do it with you. All right, now, here we're stuck again because I don't have an equal number to share out. I've only got 2 left. I don't have 3 left. So I'm going to stop here again. All right, so let's have a look. We've got equal numbers. Let's get looking. We've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I've got 3 tens in each group. Let's pop that in there. How many tens have I used? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've used 9 tens. So I'm going to take my 9 tens away from my 11 tens that I had to start off with. That leaves me with 2 tens, and here they are. So, yep, you've got it. I'm going to regroup my 2 tens for 21s. Okay, so let's do that. There we go. I now have 28 ones. So good. 5, 10, 15, 28 ones. So let's go and start sharing them out amongst our 3 equal groups. Okay, let's get going. Just for the sake of time, I'm just going to share these out in groups of 5 to start off with, and then we can spread out the rest as we go. Make sure these are all equal. There we go. So let's just check. Are my groups equal? Yes, I think they are. That one's a bit out of line there. Sorry about that. Let's just check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so I've got 9 ones in each of my 3 groups. How many have I used? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. I've used 27 ones, which leaves me with 1 left over, which indeed I have, and that becomes our remainder. So the answer to 718 divided by 3 is 239, remainder 1. And there we have our answer at the top and all of our working out there. And so that the children can remind themselves how that was done, there are your concrete, pictorial, abstract, visionary and Pictionary there in front of you. Okay, so I hope that that has given you a really good idea of the kind of underpinning methodologies and pedagogies that Prime uses. I know that it's a whirlwind, and I'm sorry for kind of hurling everything at you very quickly. But if you do have any questions, I'm more than happy to do my best to answer these for you. I know that Sean's going to kind of chair that. So thank you for listening, and I hope you found that useful.
Fiona, absolutely outstanding job. Thank you so much for joining us.
No problem at all.
That was so good. Yeah, I think everyone got a much better idea of the philosophy behind Scholastic Prime and obviously Singapore Math. So that was great. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, go enjoy that sunshine.
Oh, back to work, unfortunately for me.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I enjoyed the sunshine. Thank you so much for joining us. That was fantastic.
You're very welcome. Have a lovely evening, everyone. Thanks. Bye.
Okay, everybody, thank you so much for joining us as well. I hope you got a lot out of that. I know I certainly did, actually. Fiona was great. If you want to find out more about more of these Scholastic virtual learning sessions, one of the best things you can do is to follow Scholastic Education Canada on Twitter. That's where we put out a lot of our sales and a lot of our events like this. So follow them at Scholastic Ed CDA, and of course, you can always follow me at Campbell Online on Twitter as well. If you have any other questions, you can just DM me on there, or of course, your Scholastic education consultants across Canada would be more than happy to get you anything you need, really. And hopefully you'll get a chance to take advantage of that 50% off Scholastic Prime that is on until December 31st, where it's only $1,000 per school, which is pretty good value. So jump on that. Everybody have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a wonderful week. Thank you.